Good afternoon. I'm Brandon Eisner. I'm the leader of market research and insights for CBRE in South Florida. And today I'm with Still Hunter, who's the executive vice president in charge of multifamily capital markets. So Still, great to have you. Thank you for coming on.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
So in the US, obviously COVID-19 emerged, which almost completely shut down multifamily capital markets, not only in South Florida, but all over the US. But lately, we've been beginning to see a resurgence in activity. But I want to hear it from the person who's on the street making these transactions happen. So Still, what have you been seeing in the South Florida multifamily market over the past few weeks?
Over the past few weeks, things have really begun to change. And there's no doubt about it that the transaction market was literally frozen for a period of 3 months. But that has really begun to change rapidly over the past 2 to 3 weeks, with groups who were looking at properties that were marketed pre-COVID have begun to circle back and inquire about those properties and see if there's a deal to be made. And deals that were tabled pre-COVID are beginning to get put back together. We're also in discussions with several owners about potentially launching new offerings to market in the pretty near term. So I think that the transaction activity is going to continue to accelerate as we see more and more deals close and more deals hitting the market. So I'm very optimistic that we're going to see a return to something much closer to a normal market than we've been in very soon.
That's great to hear. Now, one other thing I wanted to ask you about. South Florida is one of the epicenters of real estate income in the US, especially in Palm Beach. Now, I've heard that there's a lot of private money waiting out in the market again, looking for opportunities to invest in discounted multifamily assets. Have we seen any sort of price correction yet in the South Florida market?
You know, there are definitely groups out there that are looking and kicking tires and looking for big discounts, and we're still in a period of uncertainty. So there have been some discounts for the deals that have been put back together, but I'm talking about 2 to 5%. So, deals are going to wind up trading at 98 to 95% of pre-COVID pricing. And those discounts will go down as more and more transactions happen. They're closing, and there's a little bit more clarity in the market. And the reason why I say the discounts will go down is driven by a number of factors. One being that rental collections have really exceeded the pre-COVID expectations. And so operations are not nearly as impaired as people might have thought they would be as we went into this. The second is the demand for high-quality multifamily. There's been a huge amount of capital chasing multifamily throughout this cycle. And, as a result of COVID and the performance of multifamily during COVID, I think multifamily's position as the most favored asset class in real estate is only going to be solidified. And a lot of capital that was chasing other product types is likely to flow to multifamily. So even greater demand. And ultimately, another point I should mention is just the state of the capital markets. They're the most accretive capital markets I've seen in my career. We're hearing about all-in rates for 7-year money of 2.3, 2.4%, full-term interest only. So tremendous capital markets conditions and also upcoming rebound growth. So it's very likely that the impairment of operations as a result of COVID is going to bounce back in the coming months or year. So all things considered, I think that the probability is that yields are going down.
That's great stuff. Now, we have the lightning round. What is the best place for pizza in South Florida?
Anthony's Coal-Fired Bar 9.
Sailboating or powerboating?
Are you really asking me that question? Powerboating all the way. If I want to get somewhere slowly, I'll go Interstate 95.
Now, speaking of which, if money was no object, what's your dream car?
That's a tough one, man. I guess, whatever car could get me around all the traffic. So maybe the Bright Line as they build out the routes.
Perfect answer. Awesome. Well, thank you, Still, for your time. This has been 3 Minutes with Still Hunter by CBRE.
Thank you.